I thought we would just hit a bunch of remember whens from the 2023-2024 sports season here in North Carolina. And this is the song, right?
Yeah.
There's some. There's this one. There's Graduation by, what is it, Vitamin C?
I think so.
There's
Good Riddance by Green Day.
There's a Green Day song. Yeah. There's Look at this photograph.
Oh, God, not
Every
that one.
time I do it makes me
Don't
laugh.
do that. That song's going to get stuck in people's heads, Tim. You're like, remember when?
Remember when? Remember when Duke football beat Clemson in week 1 and Riley Leonard rumbled 40 yards up the right sideline to seal it, and it was like, what is going on? Duke football has arrived, and they stormed the field. And you found Derek Lively's shoe in the chaos?
Yeah, remember when I found Derek Lively's shoe during the whole bit?
Remember when that moment made everyone in America go, wait a second, Duke football? And they actually lived up to it for like a month or two?
Remember when College Game Day showed up to Duke?
Remember? That was
against Notre Dame.
That all started that day. I feel like that's when Game Day immediately went. Remember when College Game Day came to Duke?
Start taking a look ahead, yeah. That was a great game against Notre Dame, by the way. I know Duke lost. That was a fantastic football game.
It was. And Riley Leonard getting hurt at the end kind of uprooted everything. But that game was back and forth.
Remember Mike Elko?
Remember Mike Elko. Remember Mike Elko leaving?
Yeah.
Remember finding out Mike Elko was leaving when the private jet touched down in College Station, Texas A&M?
Yep.
Remember these 3 moments? University of Virginia. Mike O'Connell buzzer beater to force OT versus Virginia in the ACC men's basketball tournament. Vance Honeycutt walk-off for UNC versus Virginia in Omaha. NC State field goal to beat Virginia after your rookie quarterback, Calandria, took his helmet off to celebrate, and the penalty ended up doing him in. How's that taste, Virginia? Remember that? Oh, Virginia. Remember UNC's two overtime victory over Duke in football season?
Yeah, I do. The fans rushing the field?
The fans rushed the field because they beat Duke football.
Double OT.
Remember, was it Grayson Loftus was the guy making the plays?
He did. He started for Duke that game at quarterback. Remember when Tez Walker couldn't play? Remember that?
I hadn't until you
remember Tez Walker couldn't play because of the NCAA?
Because 2-time transfers weren't allowed, and now you're allowed 100-time transfers?
Yeah. I think they actually ruled that players that were affected by that get a year of eligibility back.
He could come back.
Efton Reed at Wake Forest gets his season back even though he played. Same with Cam Woods. Same with Cam Woods at NC State.
Remember when Tez Walker showed back up and in his second game was catching a touchdown every other ball, and everyone was like, this is what they were missing.
Yeah.
Remember when, speaking of, Drake May threw a touchdown with his left hand?
Against App State, right?
I think it was, yeah. Just the right hand's pinned down. Defense thinks they have him, so he just flicks it out there with the left hand for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you end up 3rd overall pick.
It's true. Remember when NC State's scoreboard went on the fritz during that thunderstorm delay against Notre Dame?
And some reported that it got struck by lightning?
Yeah, which they were completely wrong. And then tried to cover their tails.
Do you remember how long was it? That was probably a 2.5 hour delay?
It was a long rain delay.
Remember when Audric Estime, the running back for Notre Dame, on the first play took 80 yards after the rain delay?
To the house. Hey, remember when Peyton Wilson ran down that wide receiver in that game?
Remember when Peyton Wilson ran down that wide receiver? Remember when that play made me surprised that he ran only a 4.49 at the combine when I was expecting him to run a 4.3 based on that play? Remember when? This feels fake. Not you know how every once in a while you think of what went on during COVID?
Yeah.
Or it's just did that really happen, or am I imagining that? Remember when the starting quarterback for NC State in the middle of the season just said thanks but no thanks? I'm gonna sit out in redshirt.
Yeah.
MJ Morris.
Just hey guys, I'm done playing.
Remember, he was the starting quarterback at a power conference team that was winning. He had helped turn the season around.
Yeah.
And then he just said, sorry, I'm gonna sit this one out. tried to convince us he wasn't transferring. He was just going to preserve his eligibility and stick around, and then ended up transferring. Did that actually happen, or was that some weird fever dream that I had when I was sick?
Remember when their starting running back after 3 games said, I'm going to sit out the rest of the season so I can save my year of eligibility and transfer somewhere?
Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when their coach told the former Panthers legend to kiss his bleep?
Yeah.
Dave Doran told Steve Smith Sr. Because Steve Smith Sr. insinuated that NC State was a basketball school.
Yep.
So he said, hey, we're not a basketball school. Steve Smith can kiss my bleep. Salty Dave.
Love Salty Dave.
Remember, I've got so many in front of me. This, like, every once in a while you see this go viral on Twitter. Someone will just say, like, this has to be the funniest NBA season ever. Mm-hmm. And then people just post funny things that happened, and they just post. I feel like we could do that with the North Carolina sports season this year. Remember when 25-year-old Cormac Ryan scored 30-some-odd points against Duke in Cameron Indoor to become kind of a Duke-North Carolina rivalry legend?
Yeah.
Even though he was in, like, his 25th year of college?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Kyle Filipowski getting trampled?
Oh, at Wake Forest.
You can't. I hope if you're not watching on our YouTube live stream, I'm finger quoting. Trampled in the court storming at Wake Forest.
Remember when Kyle Filipowski tripped a guy?
Remember when Kyle Filipowski tripped a guy? And the only, like, do they have to teach it? You can't go to the school Grayson Allen went to and then get caught tripping a guy.
Through osmosis.
Remember the DJs? DJ Burns and DJ Horn leading NC State on one of the more magical Final Four runs that I've seen, let alone been able to be a part of covering. Remember when we were at the ACC championship and NC State was losing to Louisville in their first game, their Tuesday game of the ACC championship by 12 in the first half. And we were sitting there looking around going, yikes. And then they reeled off 9 straight wins and made it to the Final Four.
Remember when Jim Boeheim was talking smack about NC State?
Celebrating against Syracuse. Was it against Syracuse?
I think it was.
Yeah, Jim Boeheim. No bias there.
Nope, none at all.
Remember Frank Reich?
Remember when Frank Reich gave up his play calling duties to Thomas Brown?
Only to then take them back.
Only then to take it back.
Only to then lose him when he got fired.
Yeah.
Only to have Thomas Brown take him back up for the last little stretch. Remember when C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young faced off against each other in an NFL game, and Bryce Young won heads up? I feel like everyone forgets that because C.J. Stroud was so much better on the year.
Let's be real, he was better. Remember Scott Fitterer?
Just remember him as
remember Scott Fitterer?
Yeah, I remember him.
Remember Brian Burns got traded?
Remember Brian Burns? Remember Brian Burns was holding out but not holding out, and then he showed up, and then he was like not practicing, but he was practicing?
Yeah. Weird times.
Remember DJ Chark?
No, I don't, because he wasn't out there catching passes.
He was dropping them, though.
Yeah, exactly.
He was doing. Remember Hayden Hurst? We could just do this with Panthers.
Oh God. We could do it a little bit with the Carolina Hurricanes, right? Remember Michael Bunting?
Remember Michael Bunting.
Remember that was one of the big free agent signings this past summer for the Carolina Hurricanes? Hey, Michael Bunting, 3-year deal, $4.5 million or so?
Remember Yaniv Peretz? Yaniv Peretz was Rod Brindamore's son's college teammate who, because the goalie situation in Carolina got so dire, got called up without even going through the AHL. Straight to the NHL.
Yep.
Played 13 minutes, saw 1 shot on goal, made 1 save, never saw the ice again. I don't even think I think he went back down to the ECHL.
He went right back to the ECHL after
Norfolk.
That.
So, yes, remember Yaniv Peretz has the best save percentage in the history of the National Hockey League.
Sounds like a good 1B.
Sounds like a good 1B? Remember Kane's a good one. Remember the players only meeting in the middle of December?
Yeah.
When everyone was very, very worried about a veteran team that had been very, very good for 5 straight years? They should have had a players-only meeting when they were down 0-2 against the Rangers. Because it worked. The mid-December, it worked.
It worked. Remember Jake Gensel?
Gosh.
I'm saying that like he's gone already.
Not here long enough. It's like remember that gifted, skilled wanderer that came through Raleigh for a couple of weeks? Remember the edible mascot at the Pop-Tart Bowl?
Oh, that Pop-Tart was hilarious. That Pop-Tart deserves a raise.
It was it was like the most watched non-college football playoff bowl.
Yeah, it was.
Because everyone was just so jacked up. First of all, good game, good teams, earned it. Big. It was also an edible mascot.
I know.
Remember when the undefeated ACC champion wasn't put in the college football playoff?
Okay, I thought we were having happy memories here.
Hey, remember that time I failed the test? Like that's 8th grade graduation. You did it all. Remember the fire drill?
Remember the lawsuits?
Remember the
by
lawsuits?
Florida State? By Clemson?
Still going on. What do you mean remember them?
Yeah, I know.
That's like today.
Remember the Board of Trustees meeting by Florida State about said lawsuit?
Remember when they first walked out and said it's not a matter of if but when, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's probably more. Anything we're missing that's big? Remember the double Final Four for NC State?
Yeah.
Remember Brennan Armstrong?
Brennan Armstrong.
Remember
Riley Leonard transferring?
Jordan Moore? Remember Sam Hartman?
Yeah.
Coming back and basically playing an ACC schedule at Notre Dame after leaving Wake?
Caleb Love coming back to the Triangle?
Remember Caleb Love? Remember R.J. Davis and had that streak where it was like 25 a game for 7 straight, and it was like, when did this guy turn into the best scorer in the country? And then he was the ACC Player of the Year.
Remember us wondering if he was going to come back? Remember like 10 Duke guys leaving?
Remember 10 Duke. Duke made the Elite 8, and then like 2 weeks later had 2 players on their roster.
Now, some of it was graduation and NBA draft. Okay, fine, but you know.
Remember Armando Bacot?
Oh, my God.
This is the first time he hasn't been a Tar Heel in a very long time.
He was a Tar Heel pre-COVID.
He was. And he got the COVID extra year. And he was making money.
Wild times.
Wild times. That was fun.